Welcome back, you guys, to another video. I'm the Aquarian Dragon, and today's topic is actually divination. So, there's many different forms and variety of divinations. Let's see here. Bring this out real quick, because I divination. So, what is divination? What does it mean to divine? So, in order to divine is to kind of create that altered state of consciousness, that other state of being, that mind. Hi, Philip. So, divination has many different forms. There is channeling, which can bring messages from the spirit world. There is tarot or tarot, which is one of the most common forms of divination today. So there's also oracle cards as well, which this is one of my that I love to use. But amongst the tarot and oracle cards for divination, there's so much more that we don't normally see in everyday life. Like, for instance, rune casting runes. So these runes are, I think these ones were moonstone. So here today we have, I think this is Algiz. I think. I can't remember all my runes off the top of my head, although I wish I could. But I think it was more of the higher self and protection, last I checked. Definitely Philip. So, out of all these divination forms, each and everything kind of allows us to gain deeper wisdom, deeper insight into everything that we wish to gain some form of knowledge in. Take, for instance, the crystal ball, crystal scrying, using the mind, the mental power to create an image and see it. And just crystal gazing is another form which uses crystal balls. If I knew where I put my other crystal at, I would have showed that one. But you could also take, for instance, a crystal piece like this and hold it like this, and you gaze into the face. Although it's normally done with the clear quartz, something like this, you would kind of scry with this. But this one isn't a scrying one. I have one. I just don't remember where I put it. So there's like all different forms of divination, from the tarot and oracle cards to a regular deck of playing cards. So let's see here. If I was to pull a card for today using the playing cards, give us a quick little shuffle. So let's see. Today is the 28th, which is 10, which is in the 11th month, the 10th or 28th day, which is 10 in the 2018, which corresponds to 11. So let's do 10, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So here you have two cards, 10 and 11. So it corresponds to that. So today's divination cards diamond, which this is the down-to-earth money card, or rather, if you do it similar to the tarot, if you guys didn't know, but in cartomancy, where you're using a deck of playing cards, the diamonds correspond to discs or pentacles, whereas the hearts equals out to the cups, the spades are the swords, and the clubs are the wands. So here you have the Queen of Discs, the Queen of Pentacles. So this person is down to earth and very motherly, but is also very generous in gift giving, but is also very prominent in their position. Yep. Accidentally dropped that. And then this one, you have the Three of Discs, which is all about teamwork and cooperation. So in order for the finances to kind of rise, in order for things to get done on the material plane, in order for you to accomplish your goal, you have to remember to have that compassion, that earthbound energy, and remember to remain grounded, while at the same time being able to cooperate and work with others. But that's the miniature version of how to read with cartomancy cards. Although everything from what I see, if I was to pull a third card, everything's just gonna be all right and dandy for today. And then you have the Ten of Discs, which is all about wealth and establishment. So things coming to fruition, everything being done as it is needed, which each one of the cards are red. So in cartomancy, to me, red is good, black isn't so good. Black to me, if I was to read it just by the color correspondences, if it's red, 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 that means you're good all the way through. If it's red, black, red, it starts out good, but it's blocked by a bit of blockages, and then it's going to get better later on, and so forth and so forth. But that's one way to do it. But I read mines the same way I kind of read my tarot. So it's based off the tarot system. Rather, the tarot is based off that of the cartomancy system, which is actually very good for divining almost anything. And then in divination, there's the tarot. And I wanted to get a little bit more in depth with the tarot in its own video because there's a lot more to it than that. So here you also have the oracle cards. So take this one for example, the Keepers of the Light. So if you were to use the oracle card system, thank you. So if you look at the oracle card system, each and every oracle cards has their own individuality. Each one is different than the other. Although they can have similar correspondences and similar outlook, they are very much different, and they each hold their own unique place. So unlike the tarot, the oracle cards don't have a unique system or unique order. They're completely made up to who the creator's creation. So the oracle card system is more like self-guidance, self-help, to me anyways. It's kind of like that system of support. Whereas the tarot can get a little bit more in depth with what it's going for and its own knowledge, which I will talk about in another video. So here you have the oracle cards, and I'll just tell you guys which card popped out from the Keepers of the Light. So this one is Dual Kul. I so said that wrong, but it's the Dharma Unfolding card. So remember that you are on a path. Take one step at a time to happiness. So don't rush. Don't let the world keep pushing you beyond your limits. So just know that you're on your path. You're on the right path that is meant for you. But you at the same time, don't rush. Just take your time. Nothing good comes from rushing. It's basically what it states. So each card is different. Each card has a different representation, different meanings, and it doesn't have a set order. So this is a very good card when you need like inspiration, or you need to have some form of guidance or spiritual guidance like that. And then there's so many different other decks for different for different things. So this one is all about spiritual guidance. So you wouldn't use love or love readings in this one. You wouldn't use specific questions or ask for specific timings or dates with these cards because you ain't going to get that much information from these ones. Take these, ask your guides, another set of oracle cards. And what's up with all these cards falling out, you guys? So here you have the Divine Helper, number 22, which 2 plus 2 equals 4, which is that stability card. So this one's all about denial. It's time to open up your eyes, remove that mask that kind of keeps you blind. And it's time to stop denying what it is that you wish to have fulfilled. There's no more need to deny the existence of other things or other possibilities. It's time for you guys to open up, is what that card would symbolize to me. But even these ones are unique. But even though each card holds a different place from the spirit guides and different helpers, masters, teachers, warriors, and all that, they actually, these ones have a number system, which the numbers don't have any representation in these oracle cards. They're just a quick reference guide for the book, so you can easily find the cards. So you can take the number and use it for the astrological focus, but in the end, these ones are good for guides and just communicating with the spirit world if you're really interested in that. And depending on the type of question, you can get dates from these cards. So let's get into the crystal gazing or crystal scrying. So here you have the crystal ball. Let me put this a little higher for you guys. So here you have the crystal ball, right? So normally there's always like a white background or something clear, but or at least something plain in my case. But you would focus on the crystal and you'd let your gaze fall into it. So if I was to do a reading and gaze into the crystal ball, I would let all intents and purposes, let my focus directly into the crystal ball. Let myself just connect and let my focus be drawn into the crystal. And then I'll just focus intently on what I want to know about or what I want to look into. But this is my interpretation on how to work with crystal scrying or crystal ball working. Normally somebody has like a candle behind it, but I don't do the candle because to me that candle creates flares or creates shadows, if you will, that sometimes I don't like to read from. But I can always tell with the crystal whether or not it will show me what I need. But sometimes I don't use the crystal scrying as one purpose. I'll always do crystal scrying mixed with a bit of tarot. And then you have, I used to know somebody that used to throw pebbles, and they'd used to scry off the pebbles, which is really unique, given that not many people do it. But they grab like a handful of pebbles or stones, and they'll toss them. Another form of divination is water scrying or mirror scrying. I do have a mirror, but I'm not going to show you guys that because that mirror is specifically made for shadow working, so I'm not going to show you guys it. It's a black mirror, so you can use it as a scrying mirror. So, mirror, mirror, scry for me. Mirror, mirror, let me see what it is that is to be. But if dark must your face remain, as I do say, so mote it be. It is a simple incantation to help you focus on a black mirror, a scrying mirror. But you can use almost any mirror, and it's the same thing with crystal gazing, allowing your focus to wander into the mirror. And then you have the water gazing, the full moon gazing, where you let the full moon light drip into a bowl of water and you look into it like you're mirror gazing. Same concept. But the one that's the most interesting, it's the most relevant to the Christian faith. So here, take the bibliomancy, which I don't like to use often because I just don't. So here you got the Holy Bible, and this is the King James version, which I'm not too keen on using because I know for a fact some of this isn't as it's supposed to be written. But take, for example, if I wanted to ask, what is it that I need to know at this current time? What is it that I truly need to know? What is it that I need to understand about myself? What is it that I need to gain further wisdom? So you just flip through and then you let it just fall. So here you have Jeremiah 41, or rather 40, chapter 40, verse 12. And yes, it's been a while since I've read the Bible. So even all the Jews returned out of all places, whither they were driven, and came to the land of Judah to Gedaliah, unto Mizpath, and gathered wine and summer fruits very much. Moreover, Janan the son of Kara, and of the captains of the forces that were in the fields, came to Gedaliah to Mizpath, and said unto him, Dost thou certainly know the Baalis, the king of Ammonites, hath sent Ishmael, the son of Nazari, or Nethani, to slay thee. But Gedaliah, son of something, believed them not. Then Jonan, the son of Kara, spake to yada yada yada. You get the point. But you would kind of do it like that, which it doesn't always come out the way you want it to, which is not something I like. I like doing it with like Psalms. Forgot where Psalms is. Luke, John, Acts, Ephesians, Revelations. Here. So I like to do Psalms or Proverbs, but here is Psalms 137, verse 1, or rather verse 7. But I'll keep that one a secret. But that's bibliomancy, the basis of bibliomancy. Although it's not something I like to do quite often. Another form is, which I used to do most frequently in my work. And I kind of created this system. So you need something to be kind of like that giver point. Works better when it's paper because it's flat, so you can just roll the stones on top of it. So here you have a piece of paper. I'm just gonna use my little Romani tarot deck, or tarot poker deck, that I created for my cartomancy deck. So take that for example. That would be the concurrent, that person that you're talking about. So here I have five different stones. turquoise for air, this purple one for spirit, this yellowish greenish one for earth, this reddish brownish one for fire, and the blue one for water. So if I was to ask, where do the elements most influence my life? I'll shuffle and then drop them like I would do a rune casting. So here, directly on the concurrent, is the blue, which is the element of water. So what does water represent? The representation of water. Water is the emotional aspect. That something about my emotions is keeping me balanced. But I'm letting my emotions carry me where I'm not needed. And then at the very bottom, closest to me, is the red, which is fire. So here you can see that my emotions is blocking out my flame, my will. So that I'm letting my heart guide me beyond what is needed. Here in the northern left-hand corner, you have the earth, which is up near the air, which is also opposite of the air, which is on the other side, just past it, which is this one. So it kind of shows me that I'm somewhat unaligned with what I'm trying to work with. So the very top, on the top piece, off balance to the emotions, is the spirit. So that kind of tells me that there's still a little bit of work that I need to do with spirit communication, the psychic sense. And it's not fully there yet. So I still have a lot of work to do before it completely aligns. But that's basically the basic definition of crystal scrying or crystal using. But each individual crystal has meaning. So it's learning the meanings of the stones and doing what you feel drawn to with those stones. So take for example carnelian. Although it isn't the best example because I kind of forgot what carnelian stood for, but carnelian is of the navel chakra, if I recall, which can also be considered a great stone for increasing vitality, potency, or even grounding in some sorts of cases. And then clear quartz. Although clear quartz is called the master healer, clear quartz isn't just good for healing. It can also bring about clarity and all sorts of different things. So if you really delve into the crystals, you can figure out the basics of what they mean in your life. Another form of divination is astrology, which most people wouldn't think that astrology is divination, but it still falls under that same category because you're things that are omens, if you will, of the heavens. So in astrology, you have the 11 houses, the 12 zodiacs, and all that. So take for example, I don't have astrology dice, but I'm trying to go off the top of my head. Take for example, let me see here. Take this out real quick. Okay. So take for example the sun. So the sun. What does it represent? So I'm going off this right here, the astrological breakdown of this. But the sun is the self-expression, the willpower, the creativity, the nature of the self and ego. So let's say if the sun was in, I don't know. Let's go Scorpio. So the sun in Scorpio. So Scorpio is the desire, the passion, the regeneration, the sexuality, the secretive, and the transformation. So that willpower is very strong, very potent. But let's say Scorpio was in Mars. So there you have a link between the two, because Mars is all about drive and energy, sexuality, desires, ambition, impulses, passion, aggression, and masculinity. So if you have a Scorpio in Mars, they're very sexual and very straightforward and prominent with what they're desiring. So if you take astrology and you delve a little bit further into each house and each meaning, I'm actually looking for the houses. Here we are. So if you're to delve into the houses, so let's say, where am I? Oh, here we are. So here you have the little chart, but I still have to look at this a lot more than anything. But in astrology, everything has its place. Everything has its own little like correspondences. So depending on the influences of stars and all that, you can use that to divine certain events, which I would suggest delving a bit more into that on your own. But out of all things, there's like so many different ways you can divine. I know that the Voodoo traditions have their bone castings with their bones. You can read the clouds, dream interpretation. It really does get very much in depth with all forms of I will leave a link in the description after this video on the various divinations, and I'll leave a link to my group that I'm a part of, where we do free readings for everyone. And I'll also leave a link to my page if anybody's interested in looking into that, and into the Aquarian Dragon Den, where everybody can keep up to date with my videos and ask some questions if you guys want on the page, and just feel free to interact on a more community type level. So with that said, you guys, love and light, and blessed be.